With this, I'm delighted to give the floor to the audience to comment on what has been said here, ask questions, or you can also present your own work in the field of promotion of youth climate action. So please, the floor is yours. Yes, please. Could you come here and use the microphone here so that people will... And please introduce yourself, name, institution.
Hey, thanks. My name is Victor Santillán, actually from Lima, Peru. Welcome everybody. I have just a little comment and a question. I work also at UN Peru, and I work in the process of the second consultation about monitoring and accountability. And it's very important, that process, because every citizen and every country of every city of our country try to put in the best topic the climate change and the environment and sustainable development. So my ask is how we can improve, or what is the main message to our young people to keep in contact and to catch that goal we have about we need to improve, we need to have a lot of great message, we need to have to transform our the way of how we think about our lifestyles. And it's very different, it's very difficult, because you say to the volunteers, okay, maybe you can do that, or you can do that about climate change, but after that campaign they also returns to the lifestyles. We know that it's very difficult and it's very contradiction. So I try to know about the main message to input to that young people. And actually, my congratulations for everyone, because you look at how in all the world we can working together about one goal. Try to change this, try to change and try to be a manager of change. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
I think I can give you a small answer to your question. With Youth Climate Action, the idea is not to launch from the top some campaign, but it's really a bottom-up platform, and you people can just put their action they're gonna do, and so it's what they do on the ground, actually, what they do at the local, like in their city or at the national level, or more globally here with the UNFCCC or under the UNFCCC venue. And so it's really like it's just giving the space to put their action and to give more visibility. So.
And if I may just add to that, in asking young people or whoever it is to move away from a particular set of actions and to adopt different practices, we have to present them with options and alternatives. So providing them with opportunities and incentives, because if that is not the case, then more than likely they will revert to the initial behaviors and attitudes. So the idea of asking for change means, presenting them with an alternative set of things to do to earn an income, or to be gainfully employed in some way. So without that, then the message is worth nothing.
one thing is financial incentives, and the other things are games. Because if people compete, in this case for a positive global cause, and if what they are doing is visible to others, their peers, and then they can be very much motivated, much more than money. And one of our, it's important to develop the ICT tools, apps, mobile apps, which simplify these global challenges, these global goals in a way that young people can relate to it in their everyday lifestyle decisions and consumption decisions. And one of our slogans here is that such kind of app, so Launcher, should be on everybody's mobile devices. So this shows you that our level of ambition, that this 15 million people that we are aiming at in our Global Challenges Action Network is only the beginning.
Sorry, I'm not sure how this is working. But, and thank you for the question. I think it's got sort of everyone, it's enabled the whole sort of panel to summarize a lot of their thinking about what's important. I think I'd echo a lot of what's been said. My personal belief is that there'll only ever really be systematic change when everyone takes a little bit of responsibility from wherever they sit. So, you know, the UN has to play its role, private sector has to play its role, youth, civil society, but then as individuals, we all have to take a little bit of responsibility. So I think if there was one message I would give to youth is that in whichever way that you can, to Sabrina's point, your local community, on your day-to-day life, it's a matter of attitude and it's a matter of changing in sort of small increments and then building off that. I think as organizations like the UN, the responsibility we have is that if we're asking people to get involved, we have to make sure that their voice gets heard. And with the My World survey, with what we want, a lot of the work that we've done is to create the space for these voices to be heard. We can't guarantee anything. At the end of the day, the UN, merely convenes its member states, but we can guarantee that those voices will be presented in front of the intergovernmental processes in a meaningful way. So, to Miroslav's point, using new technology to visualize data has actually been a huge selling point of what we've done with My World, is that the UN has streams and streams of data, but it's never been visualized in real time in a very accessible way, so that you can actually give somebody a one-page handout as they're walking into a negotiation and say, this is what young people are actually thinking at this given moment, and actually, act on it, let's do something about it. So I think everyone has to play their part from where they sit, but the fundamental message is to really take some responsibility about the world that we live in.